Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, where we bring you a weekly dose of powerlifting news, tips, and training advice with a touch of 80s rock ballads. This podcast is presented by Team Roar Powerlifting, your source of the most comprehensive coaching and meet day preparation. Here are your hosts, Josh Rohr and Laura Sturm.
Welcome to the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast. I am one of your hosts, Laura Sturm.
And I'm Josh Rohr. Welcome to episode 73. The results are in. The lifter submitted top 5 hype songs. We had 22 people enter, only 2 remain, but the winner between Jeremy Hartman and Jenna Weinstein is Uncle Jeremy Hartman, moving on with 71% of the vote. Well, I guess not moving on. He's the champion.
It's over.
It's over. So Jeremy is going to get a $50 A7 gift certificate from A7. They generously sponsored the podcast, as they do with a lot of the powerlifting meets around the country. So definitely appreciate having them be part of this, and definitely give them some support because they do a lot for the sport. So so Jeremy, your gift certificate number is 217312. Just make sure you don't share that with anybody, because that'll be just for you.
Nice. I'm sure that's how it works. Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice.
If anybody
making that up.
Yeah. If anybody tries to use that and it doesn't work, I don't know why. So I figured I kind of want to take a couple weeks from before we jump into the next tournament or the next submission of list and stuff, and just kind of get to some of the more powerlifting specific things on the horizon over the next couple weeks. But in the meantime, we would love to hear from you guys. If you want to submit your ideas, you can submit them either email or Instagram at PL Ballads Podcast. What kind of list countdown we should do again? We mentioned, I think, driving songs, 80s movies, movies with best soundtrack. Did we already do that one?
Nope, never did it.
Okay. Well, we talked about it. That would be a good one, I think. So submit the ideas, whatever we get the most, whatever. Well, you know what?
Whatever we feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say whatever one comes in with the most submissions, but I'm like, nah, we're just gonna do what we want. But give us some ideas, though. We would love them. And just as a fun experiment, just to see who's actually listening to these episodes, send us a direct message, and it just has to say Ned Ryerson. Or if you provide any facts or details about Ned Ryerson, that would be just more for our entertainment, but just to see who's actually listening, and we'll do that.
And I'm like, Ned Ryerson.
It's on the tip of your tongue. I'm sure it is.
I feel like from Groundhog Day, it's the guy that he keeps seeing. He's like, Ned Ryerson.
That is exactly who it is.
Is it?
Yes. I'm impressed.
Wow.
I was not expecting you to pull that out of your ass. I didn't, because everybody's like, it's familiar. Like, that name's familiar. Like, I know I've heard it, but what's it from? But yeah.
Lots of times.
Did you look it up, or did you just know that?
No, I remember that.
That just makes me so happy. I'm not going to lie.
I'm glad. I knew that little minutia.
Yeah. Yeah. So fun fact, this actually came up when I was up in Ohio. Do you remember, I don't know if you ever heard of the game Halo. It was real popular in their early 2000s.
Yep.
I was never really good at it, but my name on Halo was Ned Ryerson. And somebody brought that up at our college get together, that they want to go back and play Halo with Ned Ryerson. And I'm like, oh man, I haven't thought about that in a long time. But,
that's awesome.
So if anybody that knows Halo, Ned Ryerson in Halo, when I was playing, was the guy that was against the wall, trying to walk, so his feet were moving, but he's against the wall, so he's not going anywhere, because I couldn't figure out really how to play. I was terrible. So anyway, hey, why don't we do this? Let's talk about some of our highlights from the year and some of our goals for next year. You want
You
to
go
start?
first.
Okay. What do you think?
'Cause I'm like,
So I had a couple things, I haven't thought in real big detail on this, but some of the things that kind of stand out to me is having nationals again and powerlifting meets again, for that matter. I know 2020 was shut down a lot with COVID and stuff. So going back to nationals was a really cool thing again. Getting to see a lot of our team that is not in Georgia, that we don't see on a regular basis at nationals, was super cool. Um, I just mentioned going back to Ohio for Christmas for me was a big highlight, because I think there's been 2 years since I've been alive, I guess, that I haven't been in Ohio for Christmas, or at least up there to celebrate Christmas, not always on Christmas Day. Um, I had I had this is TMI. I had hand, foot, and mouth disease like back 10 years ago or something like that as an adult. Apparently it's something kids get, and then once you get, you're immune to it. Well, apparently I was never exposed, and I got it as an adult, as did my cousin, and I think my dad also got it. Anyway, that's not the point of this story. Um, but so I missed that year, and then I missed in 2020 because of COVID, and so I got to go back and see everybody this year. Was really good. Well, see a lot of people. There were some people that weren't able to make it just because, they either, kind of COVID again. They either had symptoms, weren't sure if they had it, COVID, or just not feeling well, whatever. So that was a big thing. Another highlight for me, I'm kind of going all over the place, is watching lifters on our team kind of break through some barriers, both mentally and physically. We always think of the numbers, like what are you squatting, what are you benching, and breaking through those numbers and plateaus are always a big deal. But I think more so recently, I've been really paying attention to the mental barriers, where somebody will completely fail a rep on a set, and a lot of times traditionally get upset, and that's the end of the day, and they go home mad. But I've been seeing a lot recently where people are doing better with like handling that, and missing a rep terribly, and then regrouping, coming back, and then hitting it again. And I think that's really a big deal, and something I've really been, I guess, proud of, and watching some of our lifters, because you and I both know the mental part of it is rough. And if you can't master that, like, it's going to be a tough sledding. So that was really cool. Have you thought? I got a couple more. Have you thought of anything else?
I don't know. For me, mine were definitely more not lifter related, since I'm not really lifting. I moved, which was a big deal. So like in 2020, we got to a place, I think, where we were like, you can't wait to live. Like, you gotta do the things that you've been wanting to do, or they won't get done. And so we got to a point where in 2021 where we moved. We sold our big ass house in Alpharetta and moved out to the country where we wanted to be. And that was a huge thing, and we didn't realize maybe how big it was until
So you had to maintain all the property.
Well, that's definitely a thing. It's more of the we were having to go back and forth between our house and Johns Creek a lot, and we still do, but we're trying to minimize that now, just because that drive it just gets old. And when you're out here in the country, like the pace just kind of slows, and we want to be more on that pace, not just the world's pace, the crazy, the rat race, the go, 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 go.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And I got to say, one of my highlights of this year was actually having a lot of the team raw lifters out for July 4th, even though we were still kind of semi quarantined.
Yeah.
And that was like our real first time having people out. But that was epic. I don't think I'll do the complete, like, hey, let's everybody sleep outside thing, because I did not sleep at all that night.
I slept like a baby.
I need to just do the air mattress in the barn next time, because I did not sleep.
Yeah.
every noise. I was awake. So that was a highlight for me. And I think kind of that was like,
Can I
it was a
add
great
that?
weekend. It was fun.
Can I add that to one of my highlights too? Because I
Yes.
didn't put that, but that now that you're mentioning it, that definitely was like, there's nothing like sitting around the fire with everybody, just kind of talking about, not just lifting, but life. Like it's
Yeah.
something that we don't really get to do a lot. That's why I always really enjoy the national meets, the regional meets where, we do get everybody together. And a lot of times we're staying in an Airbnb or something like that together. So you kind of get to hang out, outside of, like, I see a lot of people, a couple times a week, but it's in the gym training. We're there for a reason. Like, and then, they got to go back to work. I got to, train somebody else. So like, we don't really get to hang out and, get to know each other out, at that level, I guess. So that's where I really thought that was pretty
Right.
cool and really enjoyed that.
Yeah. And we went tubing the next day, and that was pretty epic. Yeah, it was super fun. So a lot of my highlights definitely revolve around, being in my new digs and getting chickens, which was, I always wanted a small house with big land and chickens. That was our goal, and that's what we got.
Yeah.
So,
And
now I'm getting like 12 eggs a day. So if anybody needs chickens, not chickens, eggs, please let me know.
So I always wanted to get away from the farm, not have any animals, and whatever. And I also have those, so I got the opposite. We both got chickens, but whatever. Those eggs are good though. I will say that. I can't complain too much. Those are some good eggs.
Yeah, you can't. So what are your goals for?
Well, I got another highlight.
Sorry.
So Hope and I took a 4-year anniversary trip to Greece a couple months ago in September. Well, October, I guess. And that was really cool. Just kind of getting away from kind of what you said, like the I don't know how you put it, the pace and the go of everything, and just kind of, obviously Greece was amazing, but just getting away and, being able to do that with Hope and everything was pretty cool. So that, and my last highlight, it's not really a 2021 highlight. It's kind of just like a couple decade long highlight, but I just happened to hop on the Georgia State Records page today. Not sure why, and was just kind of scrolling through, and there are records that were set by team rower lifters that still stand 10 plus years ago. So just kind of going through that, I think I might have to go through and just kind of take inventory of how many records are held by team rower lifters over the last couple of decades, which it's kind of crazy to think about, but there's a bunch.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and lifters that haven't, lifters that were on our team that haven't competed in 10 years that still hold records from back when they were still competing. So pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So what are your goals for 2022?
Well, one of my top goals, I don't know if I shouldn't say top priority. One of my goals is to get back on the platform. I haven't competed since Nationals 2019. Was planning to do the Georgia State meet in February to qualify for Nationals this year. But full transparency, I'm not sure I'm going to be ready. And when I say not ready, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do the meet without hurting myself. I'm never against doing a meet if you don't feel ready. I always encourage people just to do it, but there is also that point where you got to be smart. And I've been having back issues since 2007, and again, full transparency, I really haven't been doing the things I need to do to make it better. So I typically, my MO is not train for 6 months and then decide to do a meet in 6 weeks, train for 6 weeks, do a meet, hurt myself. So trying to be smarter this time around. I'm training now, so I'm gonna, I'm not ruling it out, but in years past, I would just say I'm going to do it no matter what, and what happens, and that usually ends up not being good. So I'm going to train like I'm doing it, and if I'm feeling healthy and think I can do it safely, I will. If not, I'll probably delay competing and possibly not compete at nationals this year. But got to take the steps to do it right. So I've done it. It's funny. I would never let any of my lifters get away with this, with the dumb stuff I do. So I guess maybe it's one of them things I gotta start practicing what I preach, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my goals would be just to train regularly. I'm not even into getting back close to competing. It's okay with me. I would just like to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And use training as a way to stay healthy.
What are your thoughts on, I'm putting you on the spot big time here. What are your thoughts on coming to coach again at the Georgia State meet in February, or B, really putting you on the spot, flying to Vegas to be there for nationals? And I'm assuming the answer is nah for both of them, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Yeah.
or you could pass. You can pass.
I don't know. Like the state meet might be more likely to happen just because it's close and doesn't require, days off my life.
Yeah.
Where nationals, like I love seeing my powerlifting family, and that's what I miss about that. The coaching part is not what I miss.
Yeah.
I miss seeing my powerlifting family. And there's a lot of people I generally just don't get to see unless it's at a meet. That's the part I miss.
So do we want to, I haven't mentioned it to everybody yet. Do you want to?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So we had talked about the idea of having a Team Roar summit. Is that what we're talking about?
I don't know what we're talking about. I'm just we'll go where it goes.
Well, you talked about having a Team Roar weekend.
Yes.
We did it a couple years ago, which faithfully was actually when I got hurt, but it was an epic weekend up until that moment for me. And I think it continued to be epic after I left. But just kind of getting all the lifters together to lift together and kind of like support each other, get to know each other a little bit more before nationals was the idea. And I have a venue. It's, an hour and a half outside of Atlanta. And it could involve camping or not, or hotel. But we have a couple of platforms that we can set up in our garage, and people out to the country. And if they'd like to handle some chickens, they can. They don't have to. And I think there should be tubing after on the Amicalola River.
Yeah, we're definitely going to make that happen. Yeah, so we did it. What year was that? 2018 that we did.
Yeah, it was 2018.
Basically, everybody on our team.
Yep.
Well, not everybody, but people from all over the U.S. that are on our team flew in, and basically just stayed. It was like a long weekend. It was 3 days. I don't even remember. I think it was 3 days. We just, we trained because we were all like 2 or 3 weeks out from nationals, and then we just kind of hung out, kind of what we were talking about earlier, just getting to know each other better and hanging out. So yeah, we are all, again, a lot of people on the team don't know this because I haven't told them yet, but we're all going to have Team Roar weekend at the farm this year or next year, 2022.
2022. So that's one of my goals, just to make that happen.
Yeah.
And that lets me not have to travel and get to see a lot of my powerlifting family.
Win-win.
Yes.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep. I'm excited about that. I really have. I've told a few people, but I've been trying not to say too much about it because I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag. But I think
it's funny that you say let the cat out of the bag, because I keep hearing this noise, and I believe it's my cat trying to escape the bedroom because I have her locked in. So,
nice.
Yeah, because otherwise she climbs to the back of my chair and tries to get on my head, which is really just strange.
Strange.
Yes.
Any other goals for 2022?
Stay off the world's rhythm as much as possible.
March to the beat of your own drum.
Yeah. I'm just kind of trying to do my own thing. Like at one point in my life, I kind of got to the place where I was like, achievements don't actually, they're nice to pursue. And I think they're sometimes worthy to pursue, but life shouldn't be all about that. And I think at some point when I got off that, hopping from one meet to the next meet to the next meet, I kind of went, oh, hey, wait, like that. If you ever sat back and went, man, I would be really happy if only I won this championship, or I'd really just be happy if I just got this national record. Like
If
it's nice.
if all
But
your quote unquote eggs are in
mhm,
that basket,
yep,
see what I did there?
yeah, haha, that's
Yeah,
good.
that makes it tough because it's almost like you're needing that external stimulus or external event uh, to be fulfilled in life, I guess. And
Right,
that's
right.
yeah. And I was that way for a long time, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, I think you might have been as well.
Yep.
So yeah, there's more to life than lifting. More to life than just powerlifting, and it should be something that complements your life, not dictates your life, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. And I think there was definitely a time where I was just kind of going from one thing to the next and wanting to get this next achievement because I thought that would be the thing that would just be what would make me happy. And then after a while, you're like, wow, I got that. Okay. Oh man, I still like there's still something. So I'm trying to find that something now
Yeah.
without that external.
And I think that's kind of been my path is like, it was lifting and competing for me for, a long time. And then, when I started coaching, I got really kind of busy with that and kind of, started half-assing my own training and not really training for my own benefit. And then I'm like, well, if I'm not a lifter, who am I? So I'm like, well, I better start
Mhm.
running meets and doing all this stuff and, give back to the sport more. That way I'm still relevant or whatever.
Right.
And I think the intention started out well, but again, it got so, then I'm like, well, I'm running, 3 meets a year. Well, why don't I start running 5 or 6 meets a year? Next thing I knew, I was running 10 meets a year and, still trying to coach and, getting really stressed out that I can't run the meet and coach my lifters at the same time. And it just, it ended up being more of a burden and it really made me unhappy for a while.
Right.
So then for me, and this isn't the case for a lot of people, but COVID actually was in some ways a blessing in disguise. It kind of made me slow down a little bit.
Hmm.
It forced me to slow down. I mean, there wasn't powerlifting meets happening, so you know I kind of stepped back from running meets a little bit. We got a new state chair, and they started running meets, and we got a bunch of new meet directors where I didn't feel. And I think that's part of it. Like I felt the burden, like I felt obligated to do it because nobody
Mm.
else was doing it.
Right.
But I don't, in hindsight, looking back, it's like, well, where was I the only one doing it because I was doing all the meets and nobody else really felt like
Mm.
they had an opportunity to. Which if that was the case, then I'm going to really kick myself because I was doing it out of obligation, not so much out of the love of it. I think
Right.
towards the end. Um, and I do think I'll run meets again. I mean, if I'm being honest, but I want to do it because I want to do it, not because I feel obligated to.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think COVID made a lot of people break with their patterns, right? And then
yeah,
you have the choice to go back
yeah,
to that or not, which I think is awesome. But yeah, I think my goal this year is just to do less
yeah,
of
yeah.
everything.
I don't think I don't think that's a bad goal at all.
Right.
Kind of on that same note, so like one of my goals this year too, is to hire another coach. Um, just to, I think having, diversity in a coaching staff is good. Right now, James and I are primarily the only two that are they're coaching. We lost our female coach to slowing down.
Yes. Sorry.
So, I think, you know, getting somebody else on staff, I think would be good. Just different perspective, different, outlook, things like that would be good. And that's something I want to try to do, first half of 2022 and just lighten our load a little bit again, like kind of what we've been talking about,
Hmm.
but just having more brains in the circulation to think things through too, I
Mm.
think is always a good thing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Woohoo. And I see your last goal.
Yeah, I almost hate to read it out loud because I don't want to jinx it or whatever, but I would, a goal of mine would be to repeat as team champions at the Georgia State meet. We won in 2021. That was a big highlight. But to win back to back, the last time we won back to back was actually, I don't think we ever won back to back. Come to think of it, Yeah, we never did win back to back. A couple other teams have, but ours are always like every other year, like every 3 years or whatever. So that'd be cool.
So maybe this time.
Yeah, maybe.
Or, just make a great showing and
Yeah,
be okay with it.
and you know what? Like, I wanted to win that thing so bad last year because it had been like 3 or 4 years since we won, and I'm just like, man, we got second like 3 years in a row by like 2 points, 3 points, like essentially one placing, or two placings or whatever. And it's just like we were always so close, but never quite made it. So to win it last year was really cool. But again, that almost got to be I don't want to say an obsession of mine, but again, that became the thing. Like if only that, then I'll be happier. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think, I think, that was a huge accomplishment, but looking back, I can honestly say, like, just like nationals and being with the powerlifting family, it's really the highlight for me of that meet is having, our team together in our Georgia team. And we obviously have lifters on our team outside of Georgia, but we got lifters all over Georgia, and a lot of them we don't see on a regular basis. And just having everybody there at the same time is really, I don't know. I'm getting more and more joy out of that. Is being the interactions and actually getting to hang out with people. So.
Right. Yeah, it's all about the powerlifting family.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go into the powerlifting situation. So we're going to rank wow, I can speak.
Right, I would say following. 1, then 4, then.
Okay, stop. So rank the following in order of prestige. A, going 9 for 9. B, breaking the state record squat. C, pulling for the win at the state meet. Or D, breaking the state record total.
Interesting. Do you want to go first?
Sure. So in order of prestige. So prestige. Okay. Or how about just an order and things that prestige is tricky because prestige could mean something to someone else that might not mean the same thing to me. So I'm just going to say, well, what are the things that I would think would be more important? Or would be epicer. That's a word. Epicer. Pulling for the win at the state meet. That's pretty fun. That's a cool moment. But breaking the state record total, the state total record, would probably be the first. And then pulling for the win at the state meet, and then going state record squat. Although I might have to switch state record squat with the win. No, pulling for the win. Because when it comes down to last deadlift and you pull for the win, that's pretty epic. That's pretty fun. When you're pulling for the win and you don't quite make it,
but not as fun.
Not as fun. And then the state record squat would probably be the third one, and then going for 9 for 9 would be the last for me.
So which one did you put? Nice. Yeah, which one did you put as number 1?
Number 1 would be the state record total.
Got it. So you're going DCBA in that order. So exactly.
DCBA, yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
What would you do, Josh?
Pulling for the win is number 1 for me, hands down. And I intentionally made it tricky, maybe. So the assumption is that if you break the state record total, that you win the meet. But that's not always the case because you can actually tie win on body weight. But if the other lifter actually hit the total first, they have the state record total. So you could theoretically, if I got the total first, somebody could pull after me, tie me, and win on body weight, even though I get the state record total. So threw in a little rules, a little bit of rules in there too that you gotta know. But I think, but even aside, let's assume that is not the scenario. Let's assume that it's, those are two separate things where if you break the state record total, you also win. I still put pulling for the win above that because hypothetically, let's say you break the state record total, you break the total, but you win by 50 kilos. Like, even if you didn't break the total, you still won. So it's like, that is not that much bigger of a bump to me. Records are probably going to be broken at some point. Pulling for the win, like that experience and that moment, like you are always going to be the state champion. Like that doesn't ever get taken away. The record doesn't get broken. That moment never didn't happen. So I always put that for me, that's going to be number one. Number two would be breaking the state record total. Number three, state record squat. And then, the least prestigious to me is going 9 for 9. I wouldn't say, so I use prestigious purposely because I wouldn't have that same order if we said what's the most important, because that's going to shift a lot more with, a newer lifter versus a more advanced lifter, et cetera. So, that would be my, what I would consider the order of most prestigious.
Prestigious.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't even use the word correctly. I don't know.
Maybe I'm just making shit up.
Yeah. We don't do that here though.
No, never. All right. So the new lifter tip: when making New Year's resolutions, remember to set goals that are short-term and long-term. In addition to that, don't forget the plan for achieving those goals.
Yep. I think, and I mean, we're probably all guilty of this. Like I just said, one of my goals is to get back on the platform. Okay, great. Am I going to do the steps that are needed to do that?
Right.
TBD. So if not, then, then your resolutions are going to, especially if you write them down and all this stuff, and then you don't follow through, it's like, well, those are unmet goals. This was a disappointing year, whatever. Well, you got to make a damn plan. Like you can't just like arbitrarily say all these things are going to happen, but you got to actually make a plan, do the work, and make them happen. They don't just happen on their own, right?
Right. So, no, things won't miracle.
Yeah. Things won't miracle.
They that's yeah, my redneck speak. Things won't miracle themselves. They just don't. Yeah, I think too, like tying in goals to like it's nice to have like the I want to do this or I want to do that, but like the why behind it.
Yeah.
Like tying that into a bigger why would be something that I'd say too. Like,
yeah, I think that's a big one.
Why do you want to get back on the platform, Josh?
So that's funny because when you said that, I was thinking, I'm like, well, why do I want to get back on the platform? Is it because I really do want to compete, or is it because I feel like I'm not running meets anymore? So I have that void of identity. Maybe I got to get back on the platform. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure. I'm going to have to think on that. It might literally just be filling a void right now, which is kind of sad.
Well, I mean, if you know it and you still want to do it, then that's okay.
Yeah, no, I definitely do want to compete, but I don't know that it's like the first decade of competing. Like, I mean, I loved it so much. Like, and then it shifted into that, like, that's my identity. That's who I am. I have to do it. And then it just got, really, then I kind of got hurt too. That kind of helped, I guess. But, I think maybe I almost feel like that's what I'm supposed to do, maybe. So I don't know. I'm gonna think on that more because I've really, I used to always really enjoy training. I used to always enjoy, competing and all those things. And every time I compete, I still love it. But I think I'm not sure I enjoy all of the things that I know I have to do to get back to being healthy and actually competing well again. I know I won't enjoy those. So that's where I got to actually sit down and think, like, I need to do that anyway for just to be healthy. But like, I don't know if I want to put in that much work to get back to being able to compete. Wow, this is kind of a sad episode.
How about get back to enjoying training?
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, so we'll shift that. Get back to enjoying training and working in some of those things that I really don't want to do that I have to do to get better. And thing is too, though, I mean, that's the catch 22. And I think where people get in a rut is, it's not going to happen overnight. Like it is going to take work to get back to being healthy. And, I think that's the thing. Like everybody wants the short term, but if I just do this for a couple of days, I can squat heavy again. Well, it takes more than that. And I know that. And I think part of me is just like, I guess I just dread maybe some of the grind of the not so fun stuff, but I guess I gotta, like, I do, and I do love competing so much. So like, I guess that's what I got to focus on is doing these things now will allow me to do that later.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Got to put in the work.
Yeah. Well,
but you also have to enjoy the process.
Yeah, man, I feel like this is kind of a depressing episode. I feel like we're going through this, like, who am I phase.
Who am I? What's important to me? Oh. Oh,
I think those are important questions people need to ask themselves, though. Because even what you just said, like, one of my goals for 2022 is to get back on the platform. Well, if it's just that, it's probably not going to really happen without some follow through. Even the new lifter tip, we said, have a plan. I kind of have a plan. I'm just like, I'll just start lifting heavy again. It's not a good plan. Got to do the other little things
first. Yeah, there's those things. Well, report back next week, Josh.
Yes, we'll do. In 2022. Crazy. Yeah. Wow. So, well, I guess on that note, we'll shut it down for 2022. I'm a sidebar for a minute. I really do appreciate everybody that does listen to us. I know we kind of are a train wreck sometimes with our discussions and things like that, but we both do very much love the sport of powerlifting. So please don't take this last little sad curve at the end as us not caring, because we really do love it. And we do want to be a resource for people. So if there is anything you want us to discuss, or if you have any questions, please do reach out. I do answer questions on the PL Ballads podcast Instagram page. So like if people DM me a question, I will answer it. If it's a more lengthy discussion that's needed, then we'll talk about it on the podcast. But we do want to be a resource. We want to share information. We want to highlight the cool things that are happening, things like that. So, just sincere, I guess, thank you to everybody that has listened to us and put up with our antics. So
nicely said, Josh.
Yeah. Nice. So on that note, I guess we will see you all in 2022. Have a great New Year, a great and safe New Year's Eve, and hope everybody has a great start to their new year.
Merry New Year.
Merry New Year.
Bye now.
Bye now.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode of the Powerlifting and Power Ballads podcast, please remember to subscribe and share it with your friends.